Hey, what's up guys? Happy Sunday. It's your girl Mel. I am jumping in. I want to talk about something that we don't really do a good job of in the motorcycle industry, and I think this is super important. Hello, what's up? Oh my gosh, hi everyone. I am doing a video here. We're going to talk about what to expect in your motorcycle safety course, because this is such a big mental hurdle for so many of us when we start riding. And no one talks about it. I feel like it is really hard to ask questions about because you're just so intimidated already. I'm going to wave at you. Hi! So I want to welcome you all and invite you to just drop me questions in the chat as I'm talking, because I'm going to chat from my perspective, but also I want to hear what you have to say and I want to engage you in this conversation as well. So I heard from a community member this week who is taking her motorcycle safety course next week in Europe, and I just kind of wanted to let everyone know what to expect. Hey Johnny, welcome. Give you a wave. And we're talking about motorcycle safety courses. And okay, so I'm going to tell you about my experience taking my safety course over 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And it's going to be like a story time. So I've got a cup of tea here. So, settle in. It might be 10 minutes. I don't know. Oh, yes. So your sister's super nervous for the class. Yeah, I was super, super nervous. And gosh, I'm trying to think back. If you don't know my story, I wanted to ride motorcycles for like a year and a half before I actually did anything about it. And it was like the whole barrier, the mental barrier of taking the course, because I didn't want to be a beginner. Like, no one wants to start from scratch at anything. And especially motorcycles is such a male-dominated sport. So for women, it can be really challenging. But honestly, I just got sick of having these thoughts for a year. So I was like, fuck this, I'm going to book the test. And I booked the very, very last class here in Minnesota where I live. And it was like mid-October. By any standards, it should have been like really cold and snowy and just crap weather. But it was the total opposite. It was like, I want to say it was like 80, 90 degrees. It was so freaking hot. But I was scared to death. Like, I was shaking as I drove my car to the classroom. And in Minnesota, it's changing, but it used to be a 2-day range, like 5 hours on the range. Then it was 5 hours, I think, in the classroom. They're changing that up a bit, but it's still going to be 2 days on the range, just extended. And I was so nervous, and I don't even think I had breakfast. It was the worst, right? You know what I'm talking about. And I got there, it was super early, and I just thought it would be all men students, all men instructors. So I was super surprised when I got there. There were 4 other women, and they were young, they were about my age. So like at the time, I think I was late 20s. And my instructors, one was female. So immediately that kind of put me at ease. And, but obviously you still don't want to admit to anyone that you don't know anything about this new thing that you're trying to do. So I got there, and, a couple other people in the class. There was a couple young guys, like teenagers, and then some father-son duos, and just some like random other guys that were doing it as well. But, the classroom was cool. I think I sat on a table with all the other female riders, and everyone's like acting tough, and you just kind of don't want to admit that you're like scared to death. So everyone's kind of like, hey, what's up? Yeah, no, like, cool, motorcycles, huh? But we kind of took a second to get through that, and then we started to engage, and you just kind of talk about what interested you about riding. Do you know anyone that rides? Have you ridden before? And you just kind of have those questions. Like, that is seriously, those 2 questions are so easy to ask other riders and people that want to ride. What got you excited about motorcycles? Have you ever ridden before? How long have you been riding? What kind of bike do you have? All those questions are super basic. And with those 4 questions alone, you will get someone talking for days. Like, you will have to be like, I gotta go. I gotta go. So any rider is just gonna love to talk about that and their experience. The classroom was great. You know, I think the activities were quite engaging, and then I was talking with the women throughout the course. Obviously, I didn't put my hand up to answer any of the questions, because if you've been in a classroom setting before, you just don't want people to know that you're unsure of yourself. So I guess looking back, I probably didn't get as much out of that classroom as I could have, because I didn't ask the questions, I didn't engage the instructors. I basically just wanted everyone to know that, like, I'm good, like, I know what I'm doing. I had no idea. And then, so that was one night, and the range, so I showed up to the range on Saturday, so that's where you do, like, the actual bike stuff. So the classroom is where you're talking about theory, you know, you're going through, like, examples on a PowerPoint, but on the range, you're actually on the motorcycles, getting that real world experience and doing the exercises and the activities. And so when you go to the range, you're going to want to bring your gear. So they're not going to let you on a motorcycle unless you have the gear in the US. So when I talk about that, I'm talking about over the ankle boots, you need long pants, you need long sleeves, you need a helmet, you need gloves, and eye protection. Because all helmets don't necessarily have visors, so you can need like either reading glasses or sunglasses. I don't know what it's like in Europe, they might have different rules. But the class was great. I thought the instructors were fantastic. Also, another word about the instructors, now that I am a motorcycle coach, I can understand this a little better than when I was a student, but your motorcycle coaches are going to be really freaking passionate about what they do, and they're not there for the act of teaching. They're there for the students. They're not there for the pay. They genuinely have a super deep passion for riding motorcycles, and it's changed their lives. So they're going to super deeply want to give back. And a lot of the motorcycle coaches I know are older. Like, I'm probably one of the youngest, if not the youngest, that I know. So they're all, later in life, and they just want to give back. Like, that's what the riding community is about. So keep that in your mind. Don't think of them as teachers that are trying to dictate or point out your flaws. They are there to help you. They want to share their knowledge. So please ask them questions. And I hope that is your experience when you go through the motorcycle safety course. And also, hi, Indian Roadmaster, STL. I wonder if that means St. Louis. Welcome to the combo. We are talking about the motorcycle safety course, so drop your questions in the chat. I'm going to engage you all as much as I can. So if you have any questions about anything as I'm going through, the coaches are fantastic. And I remember in my course, I had lunch with them. It was super hot, and I was just berating them with questions. Once I got past that point of being self-conscious, I was just tell me everything you know. And they were really gracious and super generous with their knowledge. So I would encourage others to do that too. In terms of that camaraderie that you build with the cohort of students that you're with during the class, is going to be really fantastic, and you're probably going to get really close to each other really quickly, because you're constantly doing these activities. You have a lot of time chatting amongst yourselves while the coaches have to lay cones down and kind of set up the next exercise. So you probably have 4 times where you get to have 20 minutes in between, and you're just chatting and downloading kind of the exercises and the skills that you're building to discuss amongst yourselves, which is really incredible opportunity to meet new riders. And this is something that I wish I did back then, was get contact details, make friends with these people online so that I could actually reach out to them and they could be part of my riding community. I didn't do that with anyone. And those other 4 women that I met, and we had a really fun time, but I think about them all the time, and I just think I hope they stuck with it. And I have no way to know that, but Nina, if you're out there, you are my riding bestie. I hope you're doing well. Oh gosh, she had a Harley with a big old windshield, and I was so jealous of that bike. It was beautiful. So stay in touch with those individuals, make really good bonds with them. And I think the other thing that no one else realizes is, hey Serena, what's up? No one else realizes when they go into the motorcycle safety course is that everyone else is scared. Like, we all go in and we're so in our heads of like being scared, being unsure of our skills and our abilities, and just nervous as hell. But no one actually thinks that everyone, like literally everyone else is like that. And let me tell you, because I've been through the motorcycle safety course multiple times now as a student, but also as a coach, I think you have to do it once and then you get trained to do it and then you do it multiple times. Is that even new beginners are nervous, but experienced riders are actually really nervous too. So, and they're nervous because experienced riders don't necessarily have the fundamentals on lock as much as they might think. So I remember one guy was like, had ridden in California most of his life, and he was getting recertified because he moved to Minnesota, and him and his wife were in the class, and he was like, yeah, I've hundreds of thousands of miles, but like I'm really scared that I'm gonna fail the test because it's like going back to basics, which is quite hard if you're already really experienced. And I saw this too when I was training to be a motorcycle coach. The older guys who were like quite a bit older than me were super nervous, like in the friction zone, because like they were uncomfortable being watched and also uncomfortable being judged. So just remember that everyone else is scared. So don't worry about it. It's totally a natural thing to be nervous when you're doing something new for yourself, especially something that has a little like a risk level that you're not comfortable with. But there are ways to manage that. So that's another thing. The motorcycle, so the actual exam at the end can be really nerve-wracking, and I've seen this with myself, I've seen this with countless students, and I hear it with friends a lot. Cara, hey, what's up? Is just the judging. And I want to tell you a story. So when I took my exam, you do I think 4 or 5 activities where you're getting judged, and they it's a point system, and then if you pass based on a certain point threshold. And there was a quick stop, and I was so nervous because I fucked up that pretty bad in the exercises. I accelerated, and I stomped on the brake. I put way too much pressure on, and I dropped the bike. I was fine. The bike was fine. But it made me super nervous for the exam. So I came into the quick stop. I didn't accelerate as fast as I should have, and I had to redo it because it was too slow. But it was a good lesson the next time I did it, and it was fine. But man, that exam really gets people. But just remember, go slow, trust your abilities, breathe, take some deep breaths, and you'll pass it fine. Everyone else is nervous, but if you just keep calm, collected, trust your abilities, trust your skills, trust the bike. That's a really big one too. And I think looking back, when I first took the motorcycle safety course, I went into it being really nervous, really unsure. I still didn't know if riding motorcycles was going to be something that I would catch on to. But I'm glad that I did it. Obviously, it changed my life. But I think the big takeaway here that I think is important and relevant to other things in life is that if you're going into something new, it's natural to think about the worst case scenario and like really kind of make it like a catastrophe in our head. But what if it's better than you thought? And what if it exceeds any expectations you could have ever thought for it ever? That was certainly my experience. I built confidence throughout like every minute, built confidence in my abilities, and then at the end of it, you're a different person. Feel comfortable. Yeah, thanks, Johnny. That's it. You gotta feel comfortable. Yeah, so I think my point here is just that, like, realizing that it could be better than you ever imagined. So try to reframe it in that sense as well. I think is really important, but it's an incredible experience. I would say anyone watching this, if you've ever thought about maybe booking your motorcycle safety course, I would definitely encourage you to do that. I didn't have any experience riding when I took my motorcycle safety course, so that's another thing. Other riders might think that you need to have like another test under your belt, or you need to already know how to ride it. You can go into these tests with zero previous experience and still crush it and pass and then become a lifelong rider. So I think that's my message today. Riding motorcycles will change your life. Certainly changed mine. And project the outcome you want in your mind. Yeah, Serena, that's a good one. Yeah, so project the outcome you want in your mind. You know, even visualization can be a really great one. So if you want to visualize yourself doing that excellent quick stop, or doing that figure eight really well, just take a moment to breathe through it, have confidence in yourself, and definitely project that outcome. Serena, or anyone else, did you have any questions there, or anything you wanted to add about your experiences in the motorcycle safety course? I'm going to have a quick tea break here. All right, hearing nothing. Oh my gosh, this has been fun. I'm trialing a new concept, tea with Mal, just having motorcycle conversations. Okay. Well, you all have a great day and live your life to the fullest, go full throttle and never look back. I love you. Bye.